This episode is sponsored by independent Swiss luxury watchmaker Ulysse Nardin. Ulysse Nardin has continuously reset the boundaries of watch engineering and design thanks to its long-established technical excellence and its unconventional approach to watchmaking. To find out more, visit ulysse-nardin.com. That's ULYSSE-NARDIN.com. Ulysse Nardin.
You're listening to The Luxury Item, the podcast on the business of luxury and the people and companies that are shaping the future of the luxury industry. Here's your host, Scott Kerr.
In an age where cheap, disposable, so-called fast fashion places a drain on the planet's resources, clothing that is well-made and made to last, the slow fashion movement has become a responsible and sustainable alternative. Taking the idea of slow fashion as its founding principle, Italian high-end fashion company Slowear has been at the forefront of the movement. The company, founded in 1951 in Mira, near Venice, is effectively an umbrella of like-minded manufacturers, each of which specializes in making one thing and making it particularly well. My guest on The Luxury Item is Piero Braga, Chief Executive Officer of Slowear. Braga joined as CEO of Slowear just recently in May of this year, moving from Gucci after more than 16 years at the fashion house, where he held posts including president and CEO for Gucci timepieces and several senior wholesale positions at the brand. He also held senior posts at men's luxury fashion brand Zegna and Italian luxury footwear business Tod's. Since joining Slowear, Braga has been busy mapping out a retooling strategy for the company. Welcome to The Luxury Item, Piero.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining me. Slowear's roots go back over 70 years ago. For clarity purposes, I think a great place to start is sharing with my listeners the Slowear multi-brand retail concept and its focus on a small portfolio of craft-minded labels.
Yes. So before going into the retail concept, I think it's better to give a little bit of background on how Slowear was born and what's the idea behind. So the company before being called Slowear was called Incotex and goes back to 1951. And during the years, so the company became a worldwide leader in producing trousers. So they were producing trousers for themselves, of course, under the name of Incotex, but they were also manufacturing and producing trousers for many brands, amongst which Ralph Lauren, Ermenegildo Zegna, Burberry, and many others. At a certain moment in time, the former owner wanted to change path. He was kind of tired of putting so many efforts in producing for somebody else, and he decided that he wanted to go vertical and acquire a few other Italian excellencies to put together to put next to Incotex in such a way to build a sort of total look. And he started acquiring a few companies, Zanone for knitwear, Montedoro for outerwear, and Glanshirt for shirts. And he had the idea to put them under the same roof. And this roof was called Slowear. And Slowear was, in a way, apart being the home for all of these newly acquired brands and this, let's say, a little group to which the Mr. Compagno gave birth, was a kind of a philosophy, a platform, a way of living, which is synonymous with Italian relaxed, timeless elegance. he started to open stores, developing a small network of stores, building little homes for this group of brands around the world.
You were recruited from Gucci in May to be CEO of Slowear. You spent 16 years at Gucci, where you were most recently Executive Vice President, Strategic Advisor, and Board Member. Slowear was having some of its own challenges with the effects of the pandemic and then the passing of its CEO. What appealed to you about the opportunity with Slowear?
Oh, after I have to correct you. It's more than 16 years. It's about 19 years I spent in Gucci. But basically, I had done everything I could have done there. So my mission was really over in my main field, which is business. I really did all geographies, all channels. I mean, any possible challenge was let's say done and accomplished in Gucci. And I mean, I really wanted to go for a project that I wanted to feel mine. If you look at my career, I'm somebody very loyal. I started in Zegna, where I spent 5 years. I then moved to Tots, where I spent another 5 years, and then this long a journey together with Gucci. So I really wanted a project that could fit me well in this moment of my career and of my life. And I mean, I came across the new owner, private equity, and we liked each other. I knew Slowear from before being a consumer, and then we liked each other, and I loved the idea, and I took the challenge.
What surprised you about the company?
Specifically, what I found here is a great passion, and this is something I really like. This passion at every level. So colleagues, shareholders, suppliers, wholesale customers, final customers. It's a company. Slowear. It's a company, and Slowear itself. It's an idea that has not many, but very loyal supporters. And these supporters that, again, are at every level, not only on consumer side, they really feel a great passion about what the idea represents. And they really want this idea to be as successful as possible. And this is what surprised me the most, coming from a big group, a big reality, finding this really impressive feeling about a company was something that was really a positive surprise.
What special challenges come with leading a group of brands with separate activities across every part of the business rather than a single brand?
That's the question. That's really the question I have to answer in the next future, because the idea is wonderful, but as you correctly pointed out, to explain consumers what we are sometimes causes us a few headaches. In the past, with the family owning and directing the business, there was a verticality as a holy value. I really believe that we can go beyond this. I believe more in the idea of authenticity more than verticality. So I think that the brands could evolve in a gentle way, and if they can stick to an idea of authenticity. So before, Slowear was the home of vertical specialists. In the future, I really would like to have Slowear as the home of brands that constantly are seeking and looking for their evolution.
What is the common thread that bonds each of these brands under the Slowear umbrella?
I think authenticity it's a key word in today's world, and not necessarily verticality is equal to authenticity. I think that each of our brands has a few core DNA values, and as far as you respect them, you can exit verticality and offer consumers a various range of products that are still authentic because they appeal to the same values.
Well, you've had an insider's perspective of Slowear for only several months. What avenues of growth do you see are worth exploring?
Fortunately, many. The first step that we are undertaking now is to, let's say, in continuity with the original idea, to execute better. So there's an immediate uplift and benefit that we can bring inside the management of the company, just executing better an idea and the model that was created long time ago. That's number one. Number two, as I was saying, there's a gentle brand extension to complete and integrate the offer of our brands to be capable to widen the range. Number three, there is a geographical consolidation and expansion that could bring further growth. We have a very strong presence in our home country, which is Italy. We have a good penetration in some other countries in Europe and in Korea. But there are geographies where we lost ground, such as the US and Japan, for example, where we are very determined to recover the market share and bring back the position we deserve. And in addition to that, there's also new geographies to explore, such as Greater China, when the company would be ready to face this important but challenging market. There is e-commerce to develop. It's good. We have it. We like it. I think it's very much going well along with the concept of Slowear as a platform. We simply need to grow it and to bring it at a percentage of the turnover that is currently a little bit underpenetrated. We need to go back to build a relationship with the department stores where we lost a little bit of ground, but I believe they will be key in our strategy of development. And of course, there's a big opportunity into women.
It wasn't too long ago that the prevailing trend in men's fashion were more utilitarian in nature and streetwear's logo-heavy aesthetics were fully mainstream. Now the landscape looks different. Post-pandemic, there seems to be more of a sense of formality and, dare I say, quiet luxury is top of mind for a generation of consumers who are rejecting logomania in favor of longevity. What direction do you think the winds of menswear fashion are blowing?
I think that we have to distinguish here because the subtle luxury, understated, durable garments, they were already out there, no? But they were belonging to a niche, and it is precisely into this niche that we have. I've always thought to find our own consumers, and I would say that Slowear belong to this niche. Now, as you correctly said, so the winds of fashion that by definition it's temporary, no? Fashion come and goes. Fashion is today towards quiet luxury, was yesterday towards logo and flashy things, and tomorrow we can try guessing, but nobody really knows. So what is important for us is that there is a growing portion of consumers that it's approaching the before mentioned niche, and I believe they will stay there in a permanent way. In a nutshell, a certain kind of refined elegance has always been there, but was belonging to a very limited group of people. Now this group of people, because of various reasons, some are external, such as the pandemic that led people to reflect more on core values, etc. On the other hand, there is a generation of new money people that now evolved into something more sophisticated, especially in few geographies in Asia. And I think that this newly evolved consumers they will widen the boundaries of this niche. And I think that this is gonna stay, and I believe it's gonna be enough for.
Which items of your brands is Slowear seeing the most momentum?
I'm glad about this question because we have something that we can clearly identify as a bestseller. It's a Montedoro item. It's we call it the blues. It's a jacket, but it's not a jacket. It's kind of an overshirt with the construction of a jacket, and this I think it's says a lot about the needs of consumers to go in a direction that is sophisticated, but in a way unconventional.
Do you see demand varying among age groups?
To be honest with you, today our age range is quite homogeneous, and it's mostly men in their 40s or 50s. So we have a quite homogeneous response on the various products. Our challenge will be in the very near future to appeal to a younger generation, and I believe there's a lot of appetite for this refined elegance, but interpreted in a young way.
We'll be right back after a quick break with more of my conversation with Piero Braga.
A pioneer in innovative technologies and the use of high-tech materials such as silicium, Ulysse Nardin is one of the few integrated watch manufacturers with the expertise to produce its own high-precision components and movements. In 2001, the brand changed the face of watchmaking by launching the Freak. Freak led a counter-revolution to traditional watchmaking and reshaped the art of horology. Today, Ulysse Nardin remains devoted to its quest for watchmaking perfection through 4 collections: Freak, Blast, Diver, and Marine.
We're back with more from Piero Braga. One of the highlights of Slowear's Spring-Summer 2024 presentation at Milan's Men's Fashion Week was Incotex debuting its first suits and opening a new direction that expands beyond trousers. Why suits now?
It was quite natural. It is natural for a concept like ours to produce suits. Of course, if you stick too much to verticality, it's very hard to produce suits. And we felt it as very natural that Incotex, producing trousers since 70 years, could go up. So it's really like seeing a product growing from the bottom. No, we produce trousers and with the same fabrics. Because one of the characteristics of Incotex, apart the quality of the construction, is also the quality of the fabric, and also many times what I call the point of view. No, so Incotex as a vision. If you wear, some of our wools or checks or pool in trousers, you really wear something that has a point of view. And it was natural for us to develop this up. It also with the hands, you can easily figure out how trousers could grow up building a suit. And this was also part, of course, of a commercial strategy of the gentle brand extension that I was mentioning before.
It seems that Slowear appeals to a clientele with a different mindset when it comes to style sensibility. I picture your customer as someone who is less about getting caught up in the whirlwind of fashion trends. What type of customer gravitates towards Slowear and the idea of durable fashion for timeless elegance?
Customers, I think that on the average, of course, because then there are different typologies, but they're coming to our stores because they want to find something that is gonna be part of their everyday life. I try to explain better. So, usable items to go to work, items to go for the weekend. So our customer really is looking for a comfortable fit, is looking for extraordinary quality, and is looking for something that he can use and reuse, and then when it's over, coming back and finding the same old but new garment always available for them. So I think it's really this mindset, the mindset of a person that doesn't have to show off, of course, that is considering its own look and its own way of dressing as part of its lifestyle, without thinking too much, but with a lot of attention to the way it fits, to how long it lasts, and to ultimately how much it costs, because a certain balance between price and quality, it's a characteristic that it's strong for Slowear.
Tell us about the importance of Made in Italy, and how do you think that values and cultures of Italy are reflected through Slowear's stable of brands?
I believe made in Italy more than a real made in Italy. It's should be considered as a conceived in Italy. So the added value of course, producing, but producing is not only manufacturing. So producing is a wider concept. So to produce a product, of course, there's a manufacturing part, but there is also the conception. There is also the way you engineer a product, the research that you do on materials and construction. So I would really love to see the made in Italy as a wider idea of a made in, and why it's important, because here there's really the culture and the know-how of how to design, engineer, and produce beautiful things. So you have all the possible steps just close by, suppliers, fabric suppliers, manufacturers, designers, tanneries. So there's really everything you need to make beautiful things. And that's what made in Italy means for me, and that's the same idea we apply to our brands. So not 100% of our production is manufactured in Italy, but so that there's a portion that is manufactured abroad, but is entirely conceived in Italy, and that's the added value, in my view.
Coming from Gucci, you know the brand's wild success with millennials and Gen Z consumers and the enormous power young people have in shaping the future of luxury. Telling a strong brand story is one of the critical drivers of extreme value creation. Do you feel there's an opportunity for Slowear to better articulate its distinct positioning in the market to create relevance to younger clientele?
It is for sure, and it's one of the growth driver that I indicated before. There's an opportunity for us. We have a wonderful story to tell. We have a wonderful story that could easily appeal to younger generation. We simply need to evolve the product offer in order to be more tuned with the younger generations. So not necessarily the son likes the same garments of the father. Maybe they like the feeling. Maybe they like the fabrics. Maybe they also like the pattern, but they might not like the fit. So I think that there's an appetite for a younger look that has the characteristic of the so-called classic elegance, but reinterpreted in a totally different way, much younger way. And I think that this is going to be an important step of evolution for our brand, that or for our brands that, as you said, could constitute one key factor of success for the future.
Last year at Milan Fashion Week, Slowear tested the waters of its women's wear range, which currently accounts for about 5 to 10% of your sales. As an established menswear player, is Slowear looking to boost its share of women's wear?
In reality, we always had a women collection, but maybe not always, but there are there's quite a long memory amongst my colleagues here at Slowear, where they remember we started manufacturing a women's wear collection. Yes, there's an opportunity. In this case, the new winds of fashion that are blowing towards more subtle elegance also for women are for sure an opportunity for us. Women's wear world is a very big basin. So I think that at the right moment in time, and the right moment in time starts from now, since the moment we're going to be really ready to launch a much more complete collection comparing to the one we have today. It's a key growth opportunity for us. Yes.
You talked a little bit about this earlier. Slowear has an omni-channel business model operating through wholesale, e-commerce, and retail. You currently have about 35 monobrand stores throughout the world in the main fashion capitals. How does the slow philosophy play out in your stores in terms of customer experience?
Well, if you go and see where our stores are located, that's the first characteristic. No, we try to build, with some exception, of course, but we try to build stores that are not in the main luxury streets or in the main shopping streets, but that are of course in a wealthy area, in an area where our customers are living. That could constitute a point of reference for the vicinity. I like to call them neighborhood stores. Yeah. So they are stores where there's the pleasure to go, to see the last arrivals, but also to get a wonderful coffee and to exchange a few words with our personnel. So location is point number one. Personnel that I mentioned is point number two. We try to give to our customers a family touch. We don't have enormous traffic, as you can imagine, so we can afford to pamper our customers one by one. In many cases, our sales assistant they know their customers by name, and they know what they want. If you add to this the particular way in which the stores were conceived to be kind of a club or a living room, with books, with a lounge area, always with water, with biscuits. So I really think that if you go and visit, you have this impression of a slower experience.
Across the industry, monobrand stores were boosted by the willingness of consumers to return to in-person shopping. Some believe that stores will continue to play a critical role in the luxury market, with 75% of purchases still occurring in a physical location by 2025. What role do the physical stores play in your long-term strategy?
The physical stores will stay, but this is not my belief now. I mean, it's a consolidated opinion that after COVID and after the growth of e-commerce, there was simply a rebalance of the shares each channel should play in the business, but for sure nothing is capable to replace a physical retail experience. Having said that, I see a very gentle expansion of our network because for the reasons I was explaining before, we need to be able to open a multi-brand store inside in another city. No? It's not like opening a fashion label store. So the model from this point of view is scalable, but scalable with a lot of prudence, let's say, because we really need to establish our presence where we are already present, and then scouting and looking for opportunities in a very, very careful way.
From what I understand, e-commerce is currently only about 5% of your business. Will the digital channel be one of the key growth drivers for Slowear?
It will. Slowear is a platform per se because it has been built not as a brand but as a home. And this home it's a home for our brands for sure, but also for potentially for other brands that are completing the range and that are belonging to the same philosophy. So there's a big room. Today, our demographic is a little older, so the penetration of the e-commerce channel is not at the level we would like. But there's a lot of efforts we are putting together with the goal to refresh the brand in all touch points, starting from the product, going through social media and communication, and of course with the medium term goal to boost our e-commerce at the level it should be.
Slowear has teamed up with a variety of really interesting brands in the last few years. Most recently, you unveiled a collaboration with sailwear company North Sails. What does Slowear look for in a collaboration partnership?
First of all, as said, Slowear is an open platform. No? So we have the flexibility to play and to collaborate, to contaminate with other brands. The only precondition is that all of these brands share the same values. On this, we cannot accept compromise. Having said that, I mean, a collaboration could be for many various reasons. A collaboration could be because maybe we lack the offer of a certain product category in our stores, and so we look for an authentic proposition to select and offer to our consumers, or we might want to share database with some other companies, or I mean, simply we meet sometimes by chance. We have an idea and we say, let's go for it. Again, Slowear by nature, it's a flexible concept, so we can afford to have various contaminations, and this is something that we want to continue, and it's also a lot of fun, to be honest. Sometimes we do that for fun.
For the last few years, Slowear has been speeding up achieving key targets in its journey towards a more responsible approach through certifications and becoming a benefit corporation last year. The aim was to become a B Corp this year. Can you give an update on its progress and talk about the company's focus on sustainable fashion?
Becoming a benefit corporation should be explained a little bit because for the Italian company law, that has a specific meaning. So it means that in your let's say shareholder agreement, you insert this concept, and it's something that stays there. So you publicly declare, and by law you are obliged to behave in a certain way. And this behaving means that you should care. You should care about the community. You should care about your suppliers. You should care about your customers, of course. You should care about your employees. So it's really a formal concept you need to stick to, that is pushing and committing the company to behave in a certain way. So this is a commitment that we have already taken. And then there is the goal of the B Corp. Where are we? We are collecting points. It's a funny way to describe it, but we are working closely with our consultant to count where we are, and I believe that we are closer than we expected.
For any company, growth is the oxygen of an organization, feeding the culture, elevating ambitions, and inspiring a sense of purpose. What are your key priorities at the moment to ensure that Slowear is best positioned for growth?
Reinforcing the roots. Reinforcing the roots. As I said, but this company is a company with several decades of history, with a lot of passion. So that there is an entire heritage that needs to be consolidated, and this is what we're doing today. So we really need to be proud of who we are. We really need to be and to perceive to be excellent in every single stream we execute. And I really want this sense of belonging and of proudness to spread again, to be ready to face the future challenges of the company.
And my final question, Piero, which I ask all my guests, is the luxury item question. If you were stranded on a deserted island and you could only have one luxury item with you, what would that single luxury item be? It can't be any form of air or water transportation to get you off that island, or anything that requires mobile service that you can call someone to get you off that island. You're on a deserted island. What would that one single luxury item you would like to have with you?
So if I had to choose one, I'm afraid that for my skin, I would need a luxury sun cream, but very big. So this is necessary for my survival on the island. If by chance the island is located in the very north and it rains a lot, maybe I would need a nice Beretta rifle to defend myself from some wild animal.
Piero Braga, Chief Executive Officer of Slowear, thank you so much for joining me on The Luxury Item.
Thank you. My pleasure.
That's it for this episode of the Luxury Item Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. If you found this useful and entertaining, I would be really grateful if you can share it with a friend or colleague. I would love it if you subscribe so you never miss an episode. And while you're there, be sure to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. It really helps other listeners find us. The Luxury Item Podcast is a production of Silvertone Consulting. I'm your host, Scott Kerr. Until next time.